I remember the writers almost more than the episodes. Can I tell you a brief story about the great Mike Schur? He was one of the writers. He created Parks and Rec and The Good Place. He had a show called Abby's briefly. He's just one of the great show creators, and he was a writer on the show. When you asked about my favorite shows, I thought favorite writers, and I remembered this thing that had happened where in the first probably 6 months that I was on the show, I had to write an episode, and I suddenly realized that we had a character named Jim, one named Pam, one named Jan, and they were kind of like, you would get them confused in your brain. And then we had Scranton, which is where our office was, but there was also, I was writing an episode about the merger with another branch called Stamford, right? So I was like, all these names are blending. And so I walked into the writer's room and I go, hey, I invented a new character named Jam Strantford, okay? And that's literally, this is the card that I put up there, all right? And then I got like a chuckle on this, but Mike Schur is word obsessed and he's name obsessed. He is name obsessed. And that's where like, you know, Paul Lieberstein's character is named Toby Flenderson. Like that's a Mike Schur move. Like Flenderson, it's like Henderson. But what? So I leave Jam Strantford on the board for like 10 minutes. I come back and Mike Schur has put up this. It says possible new characters. Okay. And then he's written down Janet Strant-Jange, Cam Stram-Frant, Rams Anton Scrammed, Scran Jim Stamdren, Jim Jostromat, Jink Rangel Skrinkenhorn, Cranol Crankenrell, Cranford, Karen Cranford, Karen Jake Carolcorn, and then finally Jab Cam. That's where he just kind of lost his steam. And I took the cards, kept them until now. No one's ever seen those cards until now.
Kazam! You got us again, baby. Oh, Jab Can. Oh, Jab Can is so. By the way, we have many games that are either or games. We're going to play yours today in a bit, called Green Lit or Red Lit. But for Star Wars, we had Star Warsn't, and almost all of those names could be Star Wars characters. Jab Can for sure is like some sort of he's a bounty hunter. There's no question that Jab Can is a bounty hunter.
Not to digress too much, but I once wrote jokes for Ben Stiller when he was on the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. And I remember this joke I wrote for him, and we were so pleased with it, and then he bungled it, and it was a Star Wars name joke, all right? So he comes out in like a dreadlocks, and we also had like a bear suit. Like for some reason they had back suits. We just put him in the bear suit minus the head plus the dreadlocks. And he goes, hey, sorry I'm late. I was the new Star Wars trying out my new character, but I guess George Lucas doesn't like Jarwinkula, the Rastafarian space bear, right? And that made us laugh. And he mumbled that so badly on camera. And he just came backstage. I've never seen him more bumped. He goes, I tanked Jarwinkula. Just 3 words you don't often hear. I tanked Jarwinkula.
Oh.
All right. Now I digress. What were you saying?
It doesn't matter. You have to make a podcast called Not to Digress Too Much. Like your podcast has to be Not to Digress Too Much. Or just simply Not to Digress.